Need more John Fettermans calling out this socialism and fewer Mamdanis in elected office. That's the first time I had seen those comments when you played them, Emily, and it makes me angry. It makes me angry to see someone.
Wait, did you hear what he just said out loud? You rarely see politicians completely break the unwritten rules of the room, but he just shattered them.
Yes, we see America in a health insurance industry that exploits the sick, but that is not all we see when we look for America. We see it too in the nurse who works a double shift and then stops on her way home to check on an ailing neighbor. Yes, we see America in corporate landlords for whom negligence is a business model. We see it too in the father who tucks his children into bed beneath a ceiling stained with leaks, who wakes before dawn to go to work and still believes his country can do better by his family. Yes, we see America when we spend our tax dollars on bombs and bailouts, when we sell our elections to the highest bidder.
Look closely at the guy in the background right there. Did you catch that subtle head shake? That is the exact moment the energy in the entire room shifts. It's wild because usually in these political environments, everyone is hyper aware of the cameras and keeps a perfect poker face. But the tension here is so thick you could cut it with a knife. You can actually hear the murmurs bubbling up before anyone even steps to the microphone. It's not just a standard disagreement. This is a visceral, almost involuntary reaction from his own colleagues. Notice how the Assemblyman stands up, not aggressive, but perfectly measured, adjusting his mic like he's about to defuse a bomb. That kind of pushback is rare. It tells you that whatever lines were just crossed, they hit a nerve deep within the establishment. They aren't just trying to counter his argument. They are actively trying to distance themselves from the radioactive nature of his words. It's a masterclass in political panic unfolding in real time right before our eyes, and nobody knows how to stop it.
Reading the room, I had a long conversation with a friend of mine who's a Democrat who does not like President Trump, but makes it very clear that he does very much love this country. And that's kind of where they're missing the boat here, because he says this whole concept of, OK, we have to hate on the country to make it really evident that we don't like the president and we are against everything. And that's not the case. And what Mamdani is doing here is trying to say that this country is not good enough. He's trying to say that instead of everybody getting the same opportunities, he wants everybody to get the same outcome. And that's the wrong way to approach this.
Did you catch how fast his posture changes here? Most people would back down when the entire room starts turning against them, but he actually steps closer to the microphone. Look at the hand gesture. He points directly across the aisle. That is a massive breach of standard legislative decorum. You can see the clerks in the bottom corner of the frame stop typing for a split second. They know this is going completely off the rails. What's incredible about this counterattack is the precision. He isn't shouting, he's projecting. He drops his pitch to cut through the noise of the murmurs. Notice how the opposing assemblyman tries to hold his ground, but ends up breaking eye contact first and sitting back down. It is a subtle but profound surrender of power in real time. He totally dominates the pacing of the room right here, completely overriding the attempt to silence him. It's like watching a chess grandmaster corner an opponent who thought they had the upper hand just moments before.
Puritans and Sikhs and Quakers and Muslims and Jewish people who were banished for praying the wrong way. As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealth. As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more. We see monopolies.
Okay, let's back up for a second and look at how we even got to that explosive moment. Listen to the cadence of his voice right here. He starts off slow, almost methodically pacing his words. He's building a foundation, stacking up these historical grievances one by one. It's a classic rhetorical trap. He's lulling the room into a false sense of security, making it seem like this is just another routine policy debate on the floor. But if you watch his hands, the grip on the podium gets tighter and tighter. He knows exactly where he's taking this speech. What fascinates me is the sheer audacity to deliver this specific critique in that specific room. The audience completely misses the warning signs. They're looking down at their phones, shuffling papers, treating it like business as usual. By the time he shifts gears and drops the hammer, they are caught entirely off guard. It's like watching a storm roll in while everyone is still planning a picnic. You rarely see this level of calculated escalation play out so perfectly without somebody intervening earlier to shut it down.
So I think we as a country need to look at the woman in Massachusetts who said, hey, this is not about not decorating our booth down at the Great State Fair. This is about coming together as a country. If you want to stand and fight and make the country better, stand and fight. But don't bash America as a way of thinking that this is the way that we can really achieve our power and what we want to achieve.
Now focus on the absolute chaos breaking out at the speaker's desk right here. The gavel is coming down hard, but it's completely ineffective. Watch the body language of the presiding officer. His shoulders are tense and he's leaning fully forward, practically screaming over the microphone to regain control. But the room is completely gone. You can see at least 3 different representatives standing up at the exact same time, all trying to get recognized. This level of institutional breakdown is incredibly rare. The system is designed to prevent this exact type of emotional spillover, but the sheer force of the message broke the structural dams. It's absolutely wild to observe how quickly the illusion of order evaporates when someone refuses to play by the polite, pre-approved rules of the assembly. The collective anxiety in the room is off the charts. They are desperately trying to shut the proceeding down before another soundbite gets out, but the damage is already fully locked in and recorded for everyone to see.
More John Fetterman's calling out this socialism and fewer Mamdanis in elected office. That's the first time I had seen those comments when you played them, Emily. And it makes me angry. It makes me angry to see someone who took advantage of the American dream, who's a recipient of it. Mamdani and his family came to this country, and he is now mayor of the greatest city in our country, the biggest, the beacon of freedom. We have the Statue of Liberty right behind us. And the fact that the mayor of this city, where the Statue of Liberty stands, fails to understand liberty, fails to understand that this is a beacon of freedom, that when the world didn't have a place where you could celebrate being free from an autocrat or a king.
Now, watch what happens immediately after he drops that massive statement we saw at the very beginning of this breakdown. The silence in the room is absolutely deafening. You can literally hear the echo of his voice fading out. He doesn't backtrack, he doesn't soften the blow, he leans right into the microphone and doubles down. That right there is what separates a slip of the tongue from a targeted verbal strike. He wanted that specific soundbite to resonate, and he wanted it to sting. Look at the posture of the representatives sitting closest to him. They practically freeze. It's the kind of uncomfortable quiet that only happens when someone says the quiet part out loud, shattering the unspoken rules of decorum. It's absolutely fascinating to study the psychology of a room when the script is suddenly ripped to shreds. He effectively backed them into a corner where they had to respond, or else their silence would look like total agreement. Engineering a moment that completely paralyzes a room full of seasoned politicians takes a very specific, ruthless kind of nerve. What's your read on this room's reaction? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. See ya!